Hi, this is Mark from SMPostcards again with another video about postcard reselling. Today, I'm going to walk through what's sold. I got some cards sold on eBay, Etsy, and Hip, all three platforms that I sell on. So I'll go through those real quick throughout the video. I also have a special topic today, alphabet card. What is that? And I have an example here, and I also have some solds that I pulled off of eBay just to reinforce what I thought was the price. And another postcard definition, killer cancel. No, it's not a horror movie or any movie coming up. They actually call a cancel on a postcard a killer cancel. And we'll go through that term throughout the video as well. And then I have 3 viewer comments at the end of the video to go over that will create some discussion. If you're new here to this channel, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification button so you get notified when we put new videos up. And what I do is I go through the what sold, as I show you the front and back of the card, a little bit about the card and what it's sold for, so you get a good variety. So when the goal of the what sold is so when you walk into an antique mall or at a flea market and you see a box of cards, you feel comfortable thumbing through those cards with the knowledge that you see here and what you know already to pick out the cards that you know will sell or have a better chance to sell. That's the whole goal here with the what solds. And if you go back to our other videos that we have, you'll see probably a pattern on what type of cards sell. And I list just about everything: bushes, rocks, totem poles, boats, and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get into it. And we sold 10 cards on eBay. And the first card that sold was a linen card, and it was the Golden Gate Bridge. Very bright picture with an orange. That would stick out on an eBay listing. It's unposted. Very nice card. On here it says, when the Golden Gate is golden, San Francisco. So sold between $4 and $5. The next card that sold on eBay is a divided back card. And this is Indian Mountain Park, showing Mississippi River, St. Paul, Minnesota. So it's a nice card. It's got some lettering up at the top. This was posted in 1930, and it's got a 1-cent stamp, so I should be able to date that a little close to a year. And it has some writing on there. Now the line is moved over a little bit to the right, so that might equate to being a little earlier card, which instead of 1930, I think it's 1901 is really what it says. If you look at that right there, it's got the 30 in there. But a nice view card, sold between $4 and $5. Next one is a chrome card, and I can probably tell you why this card sold. I just posted this less than 24 hours ago. It's called the ShelMark Trail. Oh. And it's a rounded corner chrome card. Now, rounded corner, you can have damage which causes rounded corners when they touch, but this one is actually rounded. So that's another thing that people look for. But what probably sold this was the trail and that car. That's and that car. Those are 2 cars in the picture, so you got some action. You got a view, you got a trail, you got a mountain, and you got 2 older cars. And it's unposted, and that's a rounded corner chrome card. Sold between $4 and $5, and that, like I said, sold within 24 hours. Someone either had a search or saw it or whatever. Now, some of my favorites, and these are starting to become just like the Caribbean, some of my favorites, it's airports. This is San Francisco International Airport. Nice air view of the airport right there. Nice big red lettering. Got some writing on the back. This is a chrome card, 1967 is it posted. It's got a 5-cent stamp on it. And got a little wear on the edges along, probably from mail-in and storage, but sold between $4 and $5. Airports, start looking for airports. They seem to be hot lately. And then I'll do one more, and we'll get into the special topic of alphabet cards, the ABCs. These were kind of interesting cards as I researched them. The next thing is I'm starting to get the naval. If you've seen our video where I bought 20,000 postcards, if not, go check that out. And then there's a follow-up video to show you how I'm organizing it. And then in another video I'm doing, I'll give you an update on where I'm at. And I am making really good progress with it. But I got into some Coast Guard boats, and I sold this one. This is the Coast Guard Boutwell 719 boat. That's a chrome card, unposted. These are all new cards. It does have a little curving. The way they stored them in the boxes were a little larger than the cards, so there is a little curving on some of them, but those should straighten out with the boxes I have and how I'm storing them. I've sold almost enough to cover the cost of the cards within the first month. And I do have other expenses with the shelving, my time, and stuff like that, and some boxes. So, but for the cards, I'm getting there about a quarter of the way. So like I said, it's going to take me 4 to 7 months. I'm going to re-estimate that. It'll probably take me 4 to 5 to get, to get really down to the bottom of this pile, because it's a very well organized collection. They did a very good job. I don't have a lot of upfront sorting, and it's going good. The funny thing about this, and I got to get used to with these cards, I sold this, but it didn't end up in my sold. I have 97 of these left in quantities. So it says sold 1, 97 left. I got to get used to that, because I don't do a lot of quantity of the same listings. But that's one of the boats that sold. Now let's get into the special topic of this video. Alphabet postcards, or alphabet cards. Alphabet cards can be called alphabet card, alphabet postcard, and they're also called letter cards. Remember, there's crossovers. Just like one of the videos I'm doing on miniature postcards, you're going to see a bunch of small postcards. They're pull-out, also called pull-outs or flip-out postcards. So there's crossovers. So if one person said something, it doesn't mean they're incorrect. You just got to key in and get a little more information on what they really mean. So let's talk about alphabet postcards. An alphabet card, and I'll put it down here, an alphabet card is a postcard that features a single letter, often ornate, and accompanied by an illustration or decorative graphics. So it's a single letter of the alphabet, often ornate, and accompanied by an illustration or decorative graphics. So those are the keys that define that card. These cards were published in both full alphabet sets and individually. So there's maybe a series. So this could be a postcard series, which is a crossover. Or it could be a set, postcard sets. Or they could be just individual cards that were made. Maybe X's look better than A's and they wanted to do X's. Depends on how the production or the graphic company did it. Many images of actresses were issued as real photo alphabet cards. The origins of this style come from more than one tradition. The most obvious is that of illuminated letters and alphabet books published to aid in the instruction of reading. So back in the day, they used to read the Bible for reading. They would do different things, the Sears catalog, help with reading. They would use these as maybe flashcards. So I don't know, but that's one of the things it is. But there is also an esoteric roots, as the letters can be endowed with magical meaning. So were these used in worship? Voodoo? Don't know. But there's different traditions that were speculations on these. So the prices of these cards. Here's some solds that I found on eBay, because I don't have a lot of these cards and I haven't sold a lot. So I went out and I wanted to reinforce what I'm saying on here. They run, on this you can see they run between $3 and $6. Now if you get a really cool one or something like that, it can go higher, just whatever the market bears. But these are the current solds on there. As you see, there's a letter U, there's an O, and there's there. But there's no actresses in these. These are just decorative letters. And the one I'm going to show you is a little bit more ornate. So those are the solds, what you can look for. So if you're going to buy one of these cards, I would get it pretty cheap, because by the time you get postage fees, envelope, and all the other stuff in there, it's not going to leave you a lot. So it's a basic standard card. But if you get a really nice embossed one with an actress, sky's the limit. So the one I have in my collection is a Continental card, and it's a little ornate. It's a chrome card, newer card, but it's a letter U, but it has kind of like a cupid in there sitting on the U. And that's most typical. What you're going to see is some kind of person holding the letter or stuff like that. But sometimes you really have to look at the decorative stuff, because they really make it busy and you can't tell what the letter is at first. It's kind of like Where's Waldo type thing. But that's the alphabet card that I have, and that's an unposted Continental card. I don't have much Continental cards, but when I saw this, I picked it up maybe for 10 cents or something somewhere, and it came with a top loader. So I made out. But that's an alphabet card. Who knew? So I got a few more cards here to go through eBay, and then I'm going to hit the Etsy ones, and then I'll tell you what a killer cancel is. What is that? When I learned about that, I thought it was just regular, but we'll get into some details in a minute. So the next card that sold on eBay was a chrome card of Maidstone Club, East Hampton, Long Island. I just listed this in less than 24 hours ago. It's just a view card, a sky, and some grass. A lot of people would not list this. This would go in a quarter box at a postcard show. I list everything I can. It was a good card. Unused, sold between $4 and $5. Who knew? The next one is a kind of a wintry picture. Crystal Hills Lodge and Ski Dorm, New Hampshire. So nice blue sky picture, lodge, chrome card, $4 to $5. Someone made a stay there. Now there's a car. Whoa! These things like to fly out of my hands. Now there's a car back there too. That might have helped, you know, people look and date the card as well. But that's the thing, $4 to $5. This next one is another chrome card, and it's the Carousel Motel in Wildwood Crest, New Jersey. It's kind of an artist depiction of the motel. It's not an actual photo. The car's down here. Some people. So it's a Carousel Motel. So maybe someone has a thing. It's posted. Oh, I can't tell what year it is, but I have a 5-cent stamp, so that would help. But that's a chrome card of motel. Another card that has it. I made sure in the title, Postcard Carousel Motel, Wildwood Crest, New Jersey. Maybe someone had a saved search for Wildwood Crest. I don't know if they'd have it for the Carousel Motel, but I bet you they had something for New Jersey or Wildwood Crest, and this popped up. This is another card that I just listed it sold in 24 hours. That means keywords are working. My theory, my marketing genius is helping me with that. The next one, kind of interesting. This is a white border card, and this is the Presidential Office in White House, Washington, D.C. Right there. Now they wrote down on the bottom like it's an undivided back, but it is a divided back. And it has a 1-cent stamp on it, and I can't tell when it was postmarked, but that's the White House and Presidential Office. White border, $4 to $5. And my last card that sold on eBay, this one is the Plaza in San Jose Church. And then, so there's some cars there, there's the Plaza. Notice it down there. And on the back they have the English and they have the Spanish. Chrome card. San Jose Plaza, $4 to $5. So those are the 10 cards that sold on eBay. Now, I went to a flea market today. We drove about maybe an hour and a half to see some friends, and they have a big flea market down there in Lafayette, Indiana, West Lafayette, Indiana, at the Tippecanoe place. And so we decided we'd walk through, and maybe it's a place that me and my father would like to set up and sell. But it turns out to be just like what we have now. So why drive an hour and a half when I only have to drive 20 minutes where I need to go? But I picked up a couple things that I saw on a table, and they're covers. From my naval postcard haul, I was turned on to first day covers. I found these here. This is a cover. This is a Apollo first day cover with a stamp, and it's Cernan Evans Smith, Apollo 17. And I found another one, and it was Skylab Docking first day cover. So I thought these were a little different. I don't know much about them, so I'm starting to experiment. I probably would have walked right by these if it wasn't for people telling me what they are. And then this is first day issue 1983 for a Babe Ruth. I don't know what these are really worth, but I'm going to treat them as a regular chrome postcard and see out there, do some things. But I paid for maybe $1 a piece for these for some experimentation. He wanted $6 for these, and I got them down to like $3. And because I'm going to use them for experimenting and seeing what they do, and do some research so I can start looking for these and see if it's something I want to add to my store. I think it is. The naval postcards cover, the naval covers, I've sold a couple already just from the test that I've put up. So I just want to let you know I'm trying something new, and I saw those today and I picked them up. Best type of learning, $3. So let me go through the Etsy ones real quick, and then I'll get into Killer Cancel, and then I'll do the 3 hip cards, and we'll get into the viewer comments. I think you'll like those today. The first card that sold on Etsy is the Gold Spike Monument. Something about commemorating the spot where the first transnational railroad built by the Union Pacific and Central now Southern was completed. So, Golden Spike Monument. Unposted chrome card, just a picture of a monument. Sold $4 to $5. Next one is the Loyal Order of the Moose, Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Moose and elk lodges I always pick up as well. They do sell. This one has a little mark from a flea market booth or something. I don't take those off. I leave them on. I let the collector do them. This is a linen card. It's got some people, but it's a moose lodge in Williamsport on there. The next one kind of looks like an RPPC, but it's not. This is a chrome card of the B. Alton and Company, some kind of store in there. So if you look at it from far away, it kind of looks like a photo, but you're going to see it shine. See, that's a chrome card. It's a reproduced. You can see it on the back. It's probably a little newer, 60s, 70s, but Fifth Avenue store. So that one's sold. And these are all on Etsy. Now, I don't have the quantity. I have about almost 4,000 cards on Etsy, and I have, over almost 21,000 on eBay and Hip. They're the same there. But I still do get sales on Etsy. It does pay for itself, but it takes a longer time. The fee structure is different. This is a home in Fort Lauderdale in there. I've sold a couple of these high rises. I wonder if that has something to do with maybe they're not going to be there soon with all the problems. I heard instead of fixing them, they're going to start maybe tearing them down and build new ones. Whatever they decide to do. 1970 chrome card of Fort Lauderdale view. Next one, I got 3 more left on Etsy, and we'll get into Killer Cancel. Is the Waco Motor Inn, another motel. And the reason I picked this up, signs. Pick up anything that has like a sign on there. And this is in Waco, Texas. It's a chrome card. Nice card. Got a real heavy card stock on this one, so this is a really nice, really good looking card. And it's got that car in the front. If you see the car right there, cars sell, signs sell. Waco, Texas sells. Go through this one. This is a picture of St. Paul's Scarlet Climbing Rose. A climbing rose on a fence. Yes, a climbing rose on a fence sold. Someone's going to use this for scrapbooking, or someone likes these things and this is what they wanted. So they clicked the button and bought it. A lot of people wouldn't list this card. It would go in a quarter box. There's really not a lot of action, swinging gate and roses, but someone really likes these. That's what you want to key in on when you do your keywords. Get that in front of the people that want it, they're going to buy it. Or at least watch it, then you can send them an offer. And what is this one? Cobo Hall Arena, Detroit, Michigan. I think this is an older one with the cars down there. It's a chrome card. Any kind of university or any kind of halls or arenas, you always want to pick those up. And that's a chrome card unposted. So those were the cards that sold on Etsy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 cards on Etsy, 10 on eBay. And then I got 3 to go here in a minute after I do the Killer Cancel on Hip. Okay, let's get into the definition and term. And like I've said before, for any new people here, I always try to put a definition or a term for terminology of a postcard. It's the easiest way to learn postcards. So today's definition is Killer Cancel. That would be great, like I said, a movie, put it on the theater, Killer Cancel, like the Blob. So the Killer Cancel, and I'll put it right down here below. The Killer Cancel is an informal term. Informal term. Most of the stuff I say is probably an informal term. Killer Cancel is an informal term most often used by stamp collectors in referring to a heavy cancellation that blots out a postage stamp's design. Keyword, used by stamp collectors. On postcards, the excess pressure of these hand stamps would often create an embossment visible on the front side, damaging the image as well. So if I don't know if you ever seen them on a postcard. I don't have an example right in front of me, but when they stamp the cancel so the stamp can't be used again with those wavy lines and stuff, sometimes in those other words they stamp it too hard, they'll emboss the other side, and sometimes that'll leak through, but it also distorts the stamp so well that I think it damages the value of the stamp. Maybe a stamp collector can tell a bit more about killer cancels, but to me a killer cancel was always it kills the stamp from being used. This takes it to the next level. It says it actually destroys the the image on the stamp, and it could damage on the front of the card. So that's so important when you're doing images and get a good scanner, is scan the front and the back so people can tell what's going on with that ink on there. It looks like a spot. Sometimes they can enlarge it and look at it, but that's the killer cancel. And maybe you might want to say, hey, the killer cancel is pushing through the front in your description. I don't do that. I let the pictures stand for themselves, or if people have questions, but that's a killer cancel. Okay, let me go through the Hip postcards. We're moving pretty good today here before we get into the viewer comments. Now, remember, Hip Postcards is connected with an integration to eBay, and eBay is connected to Hip. So any cards that I list on eBay automatically get put into Hip. By the time I hit list and go over to Hip, it's basically there. And it's going to have the same price, whatever. There is a little learning curve on Hip to get that working, but it's very easy to do. And I'm sure eBay gets a cut out of any cards sold on Hip. But if it sells on eBay, eBay tells Hip it's sold and take the quantity down or delist the card because it ended. And if it sells on Hip, Hip tells eBay, hey, I sold the card, take it down or reduce the quantity. So the Hip is very, I don't do much. All I do is basically pack, see if I sold something and pack on Hip. I really don't adjust stuff. It takes everything from eBay pretty much. It's pretty maintenance mode, and it's something you might want to look into. Now, you're not going to sell as much because it doesn't have the volume that eBay does, but it does have every card I put on eBay on Hip, because a lot of people do go on Hip instead of eBay. So the cards that I sold on Hip, this one is some kind of eroded areas in the Copper Basin, Tennessee. Bunch of rocks. It's a deep crevice. Someone knows about the eroded areas and likes it. And this doesn't say when it's posted, I can't tell, but it's a chrome card with a 10-cent stamp, so that should help. But it's just basically eroded. A lot of people wouldn't list this card. It's sold. Next one is Mountain Flowers and Purple Heather. So here's another flower card. This is a divided back card, and it's what I call informal term. I think that's what they call it, informal term. Vertical is what I call these cards. They're not like this, they're like this. That's a divided back card. And it's pictures with all the mountain florals. Someone really likes that. A lot of people wouldn't list. This is called like a view card. It's a view or whatever. Sold $4 to $5 on Hip postcards. Now the next one is a white border card, Union Pacific System, and it's a Mirror Lake hunting ground for Indian Henry's hunting ground. It's kind of like a painting type thing, and it says Union Pacific right at the top. So someone probably saw that and picked it up. It's got a 2-cent stamp, 1925, falls right in the range for the white borders. Nice card. The card stock, it did feel like it, but it's a little different. It does have a little tear on the side, but that's part of my having postcard patina. It kind of had on there, but it sold, no problem. So that was 10 cards on eBay, 7 cards, 17, and 3. So we sold 20. I sold 20 cards between this morning and now, and it's basically the afternoon. So I still got to go through till tomorrow morning, so I'll be packing up on those. Remember, what sold or what purchase is all about feeling comfortable on the variety of cards to look for. I get a lot of emails about what cards sell. They all do. I can't, if I sit there and picked every card that I think would sell, then these people are buying my collection. So I try to put it out there, then I let the data come in and tell me what is selling. What is selling. So now I know, view cards and flower cards are going to sell. They don't sell as fast, but they sell. But today, I noticed I sold another airport. Airports are now ingrained in my head. When I'm looking through boxes, pick up the airports if they're for a good price and they're in my margin. That That's what all that's about. So now let's get into the viewer comments. Like I said, I get a lot of comments through email, Etsy, different places, and people ask me questions about postcards. Some I can answer, some I got to do a little research to make sure I'm giving the right answer. And sometimes maybe the answer is not 100%, but it's gonna hit the dartboard. It's gonna be close enough where they can pick it up from there and go. And I learned by answering these questions also. So the first viewer comment is, do you reuse the postcard sleeves when you take them out and place them in a new one? What I do when I sell a card is every card I have in inventory has a sleeve and a inventory number on it. The reason I do that is, number one, protects the card. Two is I don't want to put the inventory sticker on my postcard and it'll peel off. Made that mistake in the beginning, 2 or 3 cards, so that's why that changed. Also, it helps me get quicker on there. Just for example, the other day, woke up, I had an order for 78 postcards from one person. I found all those cards less than 15 minutes. It just reinforced me that my system works for me. Now, if you have an inventory system, what works for you? Maybe put them in a drawer and sort through them. You feel comfortable doing that. I'm not saying this is the best way, but my system works for me, and I proved it again the other day to myself that I found 78 cards within 15 minutes. Probably less. The way eBay put them, they were right down the row on there, and with me forgetting a number or whatever might have caused a few more seconds. But that was a really nice order, 78 postcards on there. So do you reuse the postcard sleeves when you take them out and place them in a new one? Yes. I just put I take them out of that sleeve, I put them in a new one, and this is how I mail it out in a nice brand new spotless unused sleeve, 2 mil sleeve for the cards. And I reuse this one. I just put it in my box next to me when I list. I just put another sticker over the top of that. So I do reuse them. But with the sleeve shortages, I couldn't imagine just throwing them away. Yes, right now my wholesaler that I buy my sleeves and stuff from is on back order all the way to December for standard 3.5 by 5.5 postcard sleeves and some top loaders and stuff like that. So don't be surprised if you might have a little shortage on the sleeves. I think beginning of the year, end of last year in 2020 was the 6 by 5 4.5 envelopes we had to pay double for. So sleeves are getting a little scarce right now, but the orders should start coming in by the end of the year. I always carry enough to get me through those times because I learned from the envelopes. But the answer to the question, yes, I reuse the sleeves. I put a new sticker on them. I give customers a brand new sleeve when they order a card. It's built into the cost. And yes, there is a shortage going on that I can see, but they are out there. You just gotta do some research and find them. You might find 1 pack here, 2 packs here, or you might find a place that has 100 packs. But you might pay up a little bit because of scarcity, because they're paying up a little bit, hopefully. I answered the question, what kind of cards do you sell on Etsy? Is the next question. The same kind as eBay or lots? I have a stack of postcards that are already scanned right in front of me. I just picked the next one on the top. So say I listed this one on eBay, the next one, this one on eBay, and then I finally did what I wanted to do on eBay, the next one goes on Etsy. So it's just the next card. I don't pick and choose which ones go on which site. Now if I have doubles, maybe I got 2 cards of the same thing, when I'm listed on eBay, I'll probably go over and just cut and paste the title over to Etsy and put it there. Now if I have 10 cards, maybe I'll put 5 on eBay and 5 on Etsy. It just depends how I feel that day. But my normal days, I try to list 40 to 60 on eBay, 10 on Etsy, and that covers me for the day. And the reason I do it on Etsy, because the fees or structure is a little different. They don't have a store fee. You get charged 20 cents for every listing for 4 months. So 3 times a year, you get hit with that charge. So if you put 100 cards up, you get hit with $20 3 times a year. Now they don't have a surcharge, but you do make a little bit more money on Etsy if you want, but it is slower. You will not get the volume that you do on eBay. So the answer to the question, what kind of cards do you list? The same. I don't differentiate. It's just a different clientele of people, customers. Now, some customers I've sold on Etsy, I've also sold on eBay. I don't track all that, but I did notice one customer that buys a lot from me. The next question is kind of different. It's really not about postcards, it's about YouTube. I got this a couple times. Mark, what is the reason you started a YouTube channel and create videos on reselling postcards? To help people. Kind of answered the own question. When I started Postcards, there wasn't a lot out there. There was some good ones, but they weren't there all the time, or I had to pick and choose. I had to learn. I kind of fell on my face a few times with Postcards. It was a hard 6 months to get going until I got into the flow of it. And I wanted to say, I can help people. And I was on a channel one time, and I was showing some of my processes and things like that, and people were just like, what's your channel? I didn't have one. They said, you got to get a channel. So I talked it over, threw it around, and I decided to start. And so far it's good, and it's helping people, I think. And some people have requested some other things from me, and I've learned a lot too. Just like from the video about the naval postcards I bought, I would have never really got involved with covers if Russell didn't say, hey, those are naval covers. And then I started looking around doing research, and I went out to the flea market today and I saw these. Something different to do, something maybe, get a couple dollars from and learn something. So that's what I like doing, and that's why I do the videos. It's not about monetization. It's not about selling stuff in my store. My store, one of the reasons I put the store up, so people can go look and see what I'm saying I'm actually doing in the store. And if they see something, sometimes they tell me, hey, you missed this title, you might want to put that in there. I do that. Otherwise, they can go look at the store and see what kind of postcards I am selling. I do feel that we're having a success with the store, and it's still growing. But it's not all about that. So the reason I started the channel is to help and have fun. I enjoy doing these. And I hope you enjoy it as well. Now make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that notification, because we do have other videos coming up. We don't want you to miss anything when it comes out, even though they will still be there. And also you can share these videos out to people to get more people watching our channel. We appreciate you watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.